Right, it's time now for Joy News Interactive, and Ifeakwa Singh has joined me. And I must say this before you actually start, that I know you have some things up your sleeves. I don't know what it is, but I think the producer is giving you too much leeway.
Really?
Yes.
No, we decided on this together.
You decided on this with who?
With the producer.
He's giving you too much leeway.
He's giving me too much leeway.
Yes.
I think the director is giving you too much leeway. Yeah.
Okay, what's coming up on you?
We're talking about Anas Zanetta Rawlings and sex on this edition of Joy News Interactive, brought to you by Airtel. Enjoy more talk, longer text, and all the internet browsing you need with Airtel Too Much Packs. The number to dial is *202#, and you can get interactive with us via all our social media platforms. Find us on facebook.com/Joy News on TV. We are on Twitter at Joy News on TV, #Joy News Prime. You can send an email to joynewsim@multitvworld.com, and of course our WhatsApp line is 0560800,000. Please add your name and location when sending us a message to our WhatsApp platform. Let's get talking right after this.
Joy News Interactive is
Thanks for staying.
Busted. Yes, you have been busted.
Don't worry, I've been busted, but you know, the viewers haven't seen what we have in store for you, and you haven't seen it either.
No, so you intended to play a video, some mischievous video?
No. Is it, well, when you are here doing love you, kiss you with Miss G.
she made me do it.
The things Miss G can make you do.
No,
and
of course.
Say.
If you're standing with anybody, this is something you should learn, and it's some good advice to any young man out there. If you're standing with a lady and the lady asks you something, you dare not say any other thing. You have to succumb.
But first you were like, oh no, I'm not going to do it, and then you were like, okay.
But she made me do it. The power of the woman.
Okay, anyway, let's move on to what we are about to talk about this evening. Anas and his clones went to court today, and we are told he was grilled by lawyers for the judges implicated in the Judicial Corruption Investigative documentary. Well, the photograph of the three Anases has gotten a lot of people talking. We posted it up on Facebook. So three men all dressed very similar. I think this is going to inspire some fashion, and we'll have I Am Anas gowns all over. Anyway, Yao Odio says, I'm not sure the real Anas Kra was part of the three. He might be walking freely in the courtroom without recognition. This is true investigative journalism. Kudos, Anas, for your drama in court today. Roger Haruna says, it's funny. So who even told them Anas was part of the three? But now Anas self-debate. Adding, lawyers grilled Anas, maybe his corpse and not him. And Lottie Jones says the fear of Anas is the beginning of a corrupt-free Ghana. Ghana needs at least 10 of Anas's kind to instill discipline in us. And then let's go and take Bismarck Abuaji's comment. He says, Anas is not a real being. He's more than the word serious. And Kingsley, author, also thinks if Ghana is to have about 10 Anases, Mother Ghana will not panic nor bow down in shame when we talk about corruption in the country. That's Tiger Eye for you. And this one is from Nene Ogbame. He says, Uyebia Anas. And then this one is from Weafi Akins. Anas, the real journalist. Swiss L Supremacy doesn't think the real Anas was part of the three. And Richard Kweku Frimpong says Anas must be made to remove the veil on his face, just as he did during his investigations as he is being cross-examined. How do you film an investigation spanning over 500 hours and you edit to just 3 hours? Anas must be subjected to some strict okay. And Solomon Entry says Anas in 3 persons. So those are some of the comments coming through on Facebook. Israel, what do you make of?
All right, interestingly, there's also a related story. You know, there was this judge who spoke to the Daily Guide and told the Daily Guide that Anas is a spirit.
Yes.
And that story is also
that story
excited quite a number of people on Twitter because people, so Neil Roddy, Crusading, it's actually in the Crusading Guide newspaper. Neil Roddy says, Bosom. So the story actually, which we posted on Twitter, says Ghana News, Anas is a spirit, Judge Sobs. And then Neil Roddy says, Bosom. And he's laughing his heart out. And this Afro Station sender says, will the real Anas please sit down? And it rhymes with that song by
Slim Shady.
Slim Shady. Yeah.
Will the real Slim Shady please stand up?
Please stand up.
Yeah.
So will the real Anas please sit down? Anas goes to court to face the judges accused of corruption with 2 decoys. And then Alela Wale says, ridiculous, a judge talking like this. And Kweku Pokunti says Ghana is gradually becoming a failed state. But the Anas is a spirit thing.
It's really...
Yeah, it's getting people quite excited. So
yeah, this one is from Titus P on WhatsApp, and he says, good evening, I think Anas is a spirit. And this one is laughing. You don't add your name or location, but he says, ghost and not a spirit. And he says he'll love to see Anas in his dreams. Okay, Papanko in Tamale says if Anas is a spirit, then he should be careful next time when dealing with strange faces. What does that mean? And this one says Anas is good, and it's from Efo Kwache, who is watching the show in Ho. And this one is from Nana Boating, who says Anas is a genius. Fear him and live long. He watches over everybody in Ghana. I think he is the modern day James Bond. Ooh, okay, kudos Anas. So this one saying Anas is the modern day James Bond. This one says Anas in 3 things. Godwin in Daboase. And this one says you investigate for well over 500 hours and edit to 3 hours. Who knows those parts of the video where the judges rejected the money were edited out? Anas's kind of investigations are just so weird. And this is from Berry Makuba in Jene, or Kubaji rather, in Jene. So those are some of your WhatsApp comments. Okay, so one of our questions for the day is if you would eat fish from the Korle Lagoon. Well, this is because Dr. Zaneto Rollins, who wants to be MP for the Klote Korle area, of which the Korle Lagoon is part, has huge plans.
With an idea of what we wanted to achieve, but this has definitely exceeded our expectations, and it's suddenly opening up the opportunity for what else is possible. You know, I'm looking at the piles of sand that we have on the banks, and I think that we can actually start a tree planting exercise to hold the soil to prevent erosion, and then see if we can find rocks to actually pave the sides to also keep the sand out of the lagoon. And then perhaps we can look at a case where some of those who know how to make the canoes will make smaller canoes, so people who want to come and maybe get a boat ride can come and pay something to the community and get a small ride. So it's bringing in tourists, it's bringing in money, and then we create over on the other side where there's a huge pile of sand, you know, we're looking at maybe leveling it a little bit more, but still keeping it slightly above, you know, the ground level, and then plant some trees there, put some benches there where people can actually sit, and perhaps even do something that has a small section where we can do like sporting activities or something that increases what is possible in the area and also brings money into the community. What inspired me? I think it was one of those situations where a tragedy occurs and you suddenly start looking around for the problems, and in finding the problems you find solutions that are meaningful to the community as well, and that's one of the things that has happened over here.
Dr. Zaneto Rollins giving more pressure to incumbent MP Niyama Ashite, if you ask me. So this morning we asked if you would eat fish you know is from the Korle Lagoon. Isha, would you?
No, okay, before we actually I get to answer that, there are actually 2 Korles that are being confused. There's a Korle, there's one that flows, the Odo that flows into the sea at Lavender Hill, and there's one also at Osu, which I grew up in Osu, and it's behind the castle, and we call it Osu Korlean.
Okay.
Okay, so there are two of them. But yes.
But this is the Lavender Hill one.
No, this is not the Lavender
It's
Hill.
not the Lavender Hill.
This is the Osu one.
This is the Osu.
Because her constituency is in Osu.
Okay.
The Korle Lagoon falls within Ododo constituency.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're two different. Will I eat fish from the Korle Lagoon?
Yeah.
Would I know I'm eating fish from the Korle Lagoon?
If you knew you were eating fish from the
Not
Korle
sure.
Well, we have quite a number of comments on this particular video that we posted up, and this one is from Ras Finito. He says, like father, like daughter, she walks and works like a man. Good luck. And then this one is from Roger Abukudugu. He says, wow, we are waiting to see Junior Rawlings on board again. And this is from Richard Frimpong Manso. He says, Dr. Rawlings is the surest bet and the key to the NDC retaining the Korle or Clote Korle seat. She is so sharp and development driven. Another sharp chap is Peter Boama for Ablekuma Central. And he says he loves the NDC because it has such a bright future. This one is from Gilda Jewapia, very eloquent and brilliant. Aside politics, I trust she could help the community to a greater length. It is rather unfortunate that Ghana practices winner takes all politics. I trust there are people out there like Zenato who have wonderful ideas, but politics is shielding them from the limelight. And this one is from Nantoma. He says, Dr. Zenato, you've a vision and you will make a good leader. May God see you through for you to be able to work on your vision. So those are some of your Facebook comments. Now, let me take your WhatsApp comments, and this one is from Freeman, and he is saying, well, you're talking about the Anas issue, and you're saying Anas is doing much good for this country. God be with Anas and Tiger Eye. So that's from Freeman. So I've read your message, Freeman. Thanks for sending it in at the right time. And this one is from Obed, watching the show in Kintampo. He says, Rawlings and his family had the opportunity to make Ghana a better place to live, but they failed. The daughter should give Ghanaians a break. God is watching them. Ghanaians must wise up. So that's from Obed in Kintampo. And this one is from Makopak in Porto. He says, Korle will be like Adan someday. And this one says, I don't think it's a good idea to harvest fish from that lagoon with all these fecal matter and filth in it. I will only eat it if I know. And this one is from Nihad, watching the show in Wa. And this one is from Kweku B. Abrantie, who says, I have respect for her. These are the kind of people we need in Ghana. I will really eat the fish. It is sure.
But one interesting thing I noticed on this particular post that we put it up about 3 hours ago.
Yes.
And it's already gotten 240 shares. It means people are really interested.
People are really interested in it, and it of course has more. It has a wider reach and more likes as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. Probably an indication that she could win the primaries.
Well, I think she's.
Well, she may. There may be people wanting to vote for her,
Yeah.
but she first has to cross the hurdle of the primaries.
Yeah, November 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see
All
how it
right.
goes.
Well, we have quite a lot to talk about after the break. We'll be right back.
Come on.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about.
Well, let's talk about the birds and the bees, sex, coitus, however you like to call it. It seems it is still a very difficult subject to talk about in our socio-cultural setting. But you know this story about 54 teenagers in Tema testing positive for HIV. Israel, you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
You haven't heard about it?
No.
Well, 54 students actually between the ages of 13 and 19 years was found that they have HIV, and a number of them also have other sexually
STDs.
transmitted diseases.
Serious?
So
That's scary,
it's
actually.
really scary in Tema.
And they're teenagers.
They are teenagers, 13 to 19.
I'm wondering what they would be if they sampled adults.
Well, like he said, it's scary, but it also begs the question about when the first time you heard about sex was and how old you will be or how old your children will be before you tell them about sex. Should they be told at all, or should we just allow nature to take its course?
And 3 years. Because, yes, they asked me a whole lot of questions.
As early as maybe 6 years. Yes.
Why 6?
6 because by that time they are very curious and they want to know a lot of things. So when they ask you anything about sex, you tell them.
When the child knows how to talk, say, Kofi beat me today at school. So you can deduce from that that when somebody does something to her, him or her, because the boys who are at risk, he should be able to say.
It's not only teaching them about the organs, even sometimes the use. You can say it in a polite, describe the situation between you and daddy, how they came about in a way, jovial way, and things like that. So it will help them in the long run. This favorite story that I've heard, we used to make fun of it. That you tell the child the penis, for that it's Jesus, and then the other one, the vagina, is Jerusalem. So the child chants on you doing, what you should be doing rightfully. So he said he went to tell the friend, Jesus is going. I saw mommy and daddy. Mommy, Jesus is going to Jerusalem.
Israel, Israel, you have 3 children.
Yes, I do.
Has the conversation started in some sort of way?
Oh yeah, I mean you'll be surprised at the kind of things they know, or they get the kind of things they hear in school.
Jesus is going to Jerusalem.
They don't say Jesus is going to Jerusalem. They speak it out plainly. I mean, they're not hiding anything.
Okay.
So I think we should actually speak to the children as early as possible. I mean, but as someone was suggesting, at age 6, you should be having that conversation with them.
It also depends on the environment you find the children are in, because they're exposed to all sorts of different things, people from different environments who are exposed to all sorts, and you never know what one kid has gone to see somewhere and comes to school and says, hey, this, and then,
But most importantly, I think you should avoid the situation where they chance upon you.
Yes. I have a few comments here on WhatsApp, and this says that I think you have to educate children when they reach upper primary. And this one says sex education must be given anytime the opportunity is provided. It must not be delayed until any age. That's from Freeman in Agogo. And this one is from Anam in Tumu, who says 2 months now, a day's. Okay, I think he's talking about delays, and I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to say with that. But let's take Kwekubi Abrante's comment, and he says, children today already learn sex from all ages. I pray I don't have girls, but if I do, I will educate her on sex and the use of condoms so she protects herself. So those are some of your comments on WhatsApp. Now, it's not every day that we tell you about something that is trending in China. There has been a lot of condemnation as well as praise for a video of a proposal between a gay couple, and that's our trending video. And that's all for the interactive segment today. Israel, you and Atu did your magic. Don't worry, it's going to be on Facebook. All right.
So that was
going to be on Facebook.
Okay, so for those of you who caught Ifa doing this, well, that was what I meant by you being busted. So you had plans. Okay, we can talk about it. You had plans to show a video.
Don't worry, I'll show the video. That's it for the interactive segment, brought to you by Airtel, the smartphone network, which wants you to enjoy more talk, longer text, and all the internet browsing. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Israel.
No, when you have somebody talking, when you have a woman talking to you and says, "Don't worry, you're in big trouble."
I'm going.
That's it for the internet.